right, so in the skill builder, we're going to do a couple more things to get you ready for the test. So as you see me working, remember if you don't have any of these windows open that I'm using, like layers or character, you can always go to window and open anything that's missing. All right, so when you're on the certification exam and there's something that you want to do and you don't see the window open, it might be like one of these icons here. You can just click on them if you don't know what they mean, or you can just go directly to window. You can also choose workspace and reset your essentials to get the things back that you're familiar with. All right, so that's workspace. Now I want to teach you how to do a text edit. You know, we've gone over the definitions between kerning, tracking, and leading, but I'm going to show you actually how to do that on a text layer. So I'm going to click the text tool and go over here to my text layer that says Boomer right here. And I want to show you that if you hover your mouse over something, it tells you what it is. So if you're not sure where tracking is, just rest your mouse on one of those little symbols. So I'm going to go over here and hold it, and it says set tracking. So notice how it gives me those arrows. If you click on that, you can change the setting by just dragging, or you can just type in a number. So I want you to type in 200. All right, so we're going to set the tracking at 200. All right, the next thing I want to teach you how to do is how to copy and paste something in the exact same place, because I know that that is a test question. So we're going to go to layer 1 where the dog is. We're going to get the magic wand, and we are going to click on that circle. And of course, it doesn't give us everything. It only selected the lighter brown area. I'm going to hold the shift key and select all the other colors in here until I have the whole thing. All right, so now I have the whole thing selected. I'm going to do copy, Command C, and instead of doing Command Paste or Command V, the regular paste, it might move it somewhere different. And to make sure it goes in exactly the same place, you want to go to Edit, Paste Special, Paste in Place. So now you see we have this layer in exactly the same spot as the other one. All right, the next thing that we're going to do is to delete this white background around the dog, but we're going to do it non-destructively, meaning we're not just going to erase it, because if we erased it, we would not be able to edit anymore if we made a mistake. So we are going to use a layer mask. That's the best way to get rid of a background or do something non-destructively. All right, so we're going to click on layer 1, and I am going to, in this case, just get the quick select tool, and I'm going to drag it around and get the dog. All right, it's not going to select his whiskers, and I'm not going to do like the best job getting every little detail because I just want to teach you how to do it, not trying to make a perfect image. But all right, so we have the dog selected, and we want just the dog to show, not the background. So you're going to go to Layer and go to Layer Mask, and we want to reveal the selection. We want to show only the selection and nothing else. If I had the background selected, we would do the opposite, but we want to reveal the selection. All right, so there you go. Now you can see the dog is cut out. And like I told you, those little areas there, if you wanted to go in and paint with black, if you were really trying to do a perfect job, you could always go back in here with a brush and and get black to paint your layer mask. But we're not going to get super detailed on this. I just want to show you that the layer mask is editable. It's non-destructive. So you can go in and make edits to your layer mask. All right, I can't just leave that little piece. Okay, there we go. All right, that's good enough for this purpose. So now you see we have a layer mask. It was a non-destructive way to get rid of the background. And I did that up here in layer mask, and I pick reveal selection. All right, so the next thing I want to do is to make a color adjustment, but I don't want it to be a destructive adjustment. So normally, let's say I wanted to change the color of the dog a little bit. I would do Command U and do hue and saturation, which is fine, but I don't really want to do it that way because if I press OK, then it's permanent and I can't ever change that again. So the better way to do it is to go up to Layer instead of Image, go to Layer and do New Adjustment Layer, and then I can pick hue and saturation. I can also do color and vibrance. I think on the test they're going to ask you how to do this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose the color and vibrance one. And when this comes up, just say okay to it. And then let's go to your layers, and you see above layers, it opened up properties. So if I click on this color and vibrance layer mask, I can still go in here and do the same thing I was going to do before. If I wanted to desaturate the color or change the color a little bit, you can do that there. All right. And the cool thing about that is if you change your mind and you go do a bunch of other things, you can always turn it back off there. All right. But for this purpose, I want you to go in and I want you to make these changes here. It doesn't have to be the exact changes I made, but go ahead and make some changes on a vibrant color and vibrance adjustment layer so that you get used to how that's done. All right, the next thing I want to show you is how to make some gradient edits. So gradient is when color blends from one to another. So we're going to go here and click on our background, and I'm going to make another type of a layer adjustment that is non-destructive. I'm going to choose New Fill Layer, and I'm going to choose Gradient. So I'm going to click on that and say OK to that. And then it's going to give me this gradient fill thing with this window here. And I want to edit this. I don't want to use this one right here is going from black to transparent. I'm going to double click on that and pick a different one. Now you can go up here and choose any of those if you want, but I'm going to show you how to edit the default one that they gave me. So these here, these little squares, these are called stops. And on my test, I didn't have to make a gradient, but I had to know what each one of those stops did. So I want to explain what those do. So if you click on this one here, notice how when I hold my mouse over it, it gave me a clue. It says color stop. So that's how I change the color of this side. If I go over here and I hover, it's also a color stop. So both of these bottom things are color stops. That just means what color is blending to what. Now you might look at that and say, well, it's black, but there's checkerboard, so it means it's transparent. That's because if you click on this stop up here, it's the opacity stop. So let's go ahead and edit that. I'm going to double click that, and then you see down here this stop says opacity is 0. I'm going to bring that up, and now you see it actually made it that color. So let's go ahead and make it a different color though. Let's just choose this like a lighter blue so I can see the boomer words behind it. And then let's go ahead and make this one a little bit less transparent or less opacity. So I'm going to click on this one. You can see that's the opacity, and I'm going to bring this down just to around 10, somewhere around 10. All right, so now you see this is the opacity, this is the opacity for that color, this is the actual color, and this is the actual color. So they did ask me on the test what those things meant, so I really want to make sure that you understand what each of these 4 boxes actually mean. Okay, so I'm going to say okay to that. They might also ask you like the angle of your gradient. So I'm going to leave mine at 90, but if they ask you to do an angle, it's here. Also, don't forget all the styles. You have radial. I have that in the study guide, all these different ones. But basically, I wanted you to know where the color stops and opacity stops are. All right, I want to show you how to use the shape tool in a way that is different than what the geometrics test was showing you. This is how they might actually tell you on the test. So I'm going to get the rectangular tool and I'm going to draw a rectangle around the word boomer. So let's start off by just clicking on the desktop or on your image with the shape tool, and you see it gives you these parameters. I don't really know exactly what size my rectangle needs to be. They might actually tell you. But I'm just going to go ahead and leave that. What I really want to show you is how to round the corners. They're going to ask you how to make a curved corner. So if I'm going to put in like 100 pixels for my curve, and I'm going to say okay. And then I'm going to get my move tool and click on it. And I'm actually going to make mine bigger by dragging it like this. Now, when I drag it like this, it wants to stay in the same proportion. You can hold the Shift key though and go down to the bottom and make it bigger. And you can use your arrow keys to move it around. I just want to show you though how to use the shape tool the way they actually ask you on the test. So you don't have to know how to do that one like the geometrics thing where the lemon was. That one was really hard. You just have to know how to click on your desktop with the shape tool selected and how to change it from a dot to a dotted line and how to round the corners and how to put in an exact shape too. All right, I want to go back to the non-destructive type of editing. You know how we put this color and vibrance adjustment on here? I want to show you how you can use the mask that it put over here to make edits too, which are non-destructive. So this is all white, which means I want the layer mask on the whole entire thing, but maybe I only want part of it to show through. So what I can do is if I paint black on this layer mask, I can erase some of that adjustment. So I want to like make his eyes go back to the way it was on the original drawing and his nose. So you can get a brush and paint a little bit of black on that layer mask and put some of it back like that. So the next thing I want to teach you how to do is how to save metadata in a file. So what you want to do is, let's say you want to copyright this and save yourself as the author so that nobody could steal your art, or at least you would have your credits saved. So what you can do is go to File and go to File Info, and you can name the document. So we're going to call this one Boomer, and you can say the author, just put your name there, and you can say copyright status. You could actually call it copyrighted. All right, so this is called metadata. That's how you set that up. That way, if you save this file and you put it online and someone downloaded it, they could come up here and look and find out that you were the author of it and what the title of it was and whether it was copyrighted or not. So say OK when you're done with that. The next thing I want to show you is how to arc text. We're going to arc some text over this little paw print logo. So I'm going to get the text tool, and I want to use the same color brown that I have in this circle. So I'm going to go ahead and get the eyedropper tool and sample that color. So now you see over here in the foreground color, it sampled the brown for me. So now when I start typing, it's going to type in the same color that I have selected there. So you're going to click there, and we're going to just say adopt me. And I want to get rid of that big tracking that we had. So I'm going to select this text that we just made, go up here to my properties, and I'm going to hover my mouse over here and remember that that's where the tracking was set. See, it says set tracking, and I'm going to put this back down and leave it at 0. All right, and then we're going to change the font too. So let's go up here and change the font. I want you to just use Arial since we all have that, and let's make the size 80. And then let's get the move tool and move it over the top of this. And then we're going to arc it. So get the text tool again, and then go over here on the very top control strip. See where that T is with the arc? We're going to click on that and say Style, Arc. And then we're going to put this at 75 and say OK. All right, now you see it's too big and it's far away. You can just do Command T and make it smaller and move it over your circle. Just make it as big as you need to fit properly. All right, and when you're done, press the check mark. All right, the next thing we're going to do is put a graphic style on this word Boomer up here on this text. So to open the styles, you can go up to Window and find Styles right here. Click on that. And then I want you to open up the one that says Fur. And then we're going to click on the first one. So you have to make sure you're on the Boomer layer, then open Styles, open this folder that says Fur, and click on that. The next thing we're going to do is to put our text layers into a group, into a folder. So what we're going to do is I'm going to click on my first text layer. We're going to go to Layer and say New Group. Okay, so Layer, New Group. And we're going to call this text and say OK. And then we're going to drag all of our text layers into that folder. And then I have this adopt me. So we just have 2 text layers. You can close that folder, and now you see that our text is in its own group. The next thing we're going to go over is smart objects. All right, so I'm going to take this paw print little icon here, and I'm going to make a copy of it. So let's go over here and say duplicate layer. And I'm going to say OK. And I'm going to keep my original layer the way it is. It's not a smart object. It's regular. We're just going to go ahead and hide that one for now. And I want to go over here and I want to convert this one to a smart object. So sometimes you might see me make layer adjustments up here. You can do them there, or you can also do them up here, layer. All right, so I'm going to say make smart object. So notice how it gave me this little icon right here. Now I know that that is a smart object, so it's going to be a little bit different than a regular layer. And it makes it a non-destructive, which is important. So let's show you what that means exactly. So I'm going to do Command T to transform it. And I'm going to make it really small like this. Press the check mark. And then I'm going to hide that one for a minute. And I'm going to go back to this one, the regular one that's not a smart object. And I'm going to do the same thing to that one. Let's make it really small. And now I'm going to hide that one. Now let's turn on this one again, the one that we made a smart object, and let's do Command T again. And let's enlarge it back to the size it was. Notice how it looks perfect, right? But if I go to the one that we didn't make a smart object and I go to enlarge that one back, you can see how that one got kind of pixely and blurry. It doesn't look nearly as nice as it did before because we destroyed it by making it small and then making it big. So that's an advantage of using a smart object, is it's a non-destructive way to make edits and then change your mind and go back without ruining the file.